Meanwhile, in sci-fi B-movie Small Town America land...
Sheriff, wake up!
I was awake. I was just drawn into a trance by the way my hair looks in this mirror.
But Sheriff, there are aliens. Aliens have invaded our small town.
Aliens, you say? Have you been drinking, Jared?
No, seriously, little Billy saw them in the field. Their spaceship, a big flashy light thing, landed out there.
Now, calm down, Jared. You know the trouble you had last year out of the Johnson's farm. Are you sure this is not just a repeat of that? That chicken never did get its eyesight back.
Now, what is this ungodly hullabaloo that's going on in here?
Gentlemen, the mayor.
The mayor! No, stop that, thank you, but you can all sit down. Now, it's here, by the way, Sheriff.
Thanks for noticing. I noticed, too. In fact, I'd like to get back to noticing, but old Jared here reckons little Billy saw aliens crash land up at the Marwell's place.
Aliens, you say? Oh, no, Sheriff. We need you on this right away. If the committee to build lots of hairdressers hears about this, they'll pull out, and this town will go bankrupt.
Now, Mayor, let's not worry. I have a woman I can recommend, Julie. She does my hair, and it's tremendous. We don't need some newfangled modern hair salons, and trust me, there are no aliens.
Aliens or not, Sheriff, if I don't take this seriously and the money men behind those executive hair sculpting parlors get wind of the rumors, this town is for the chop. Your budget will be slashed till you're just in a basement with one filing cabinet, an awkward extra, and a gun rack.
Would I have a mirror?
Mirrors are for winners, Jack, and until you sort out these alien fiends and send them packing, securing the monoliths to follicle manipulation that we in the committee have in mind, you won't get any more mirrors, combs, brushes, pomades, gels, or shampoos.
You're putting me in a very tricky situation here, Mayor, and not a handsome one. I am a man who lives and dies by his hair. I was even thinking of getting a perm.
And don't you think you could go run into Julie? The conglomerate behind the palaces of perms, the cathedral of cuts, and the symposiums of style have poached her for themselves. You can't let a designer of dreads and a curator of curls like Julie slip through your grasp.
Okay, so you give me no choice, Mayor, but I'm telling you, there's no aliens.
Hello.
Who in the name of Norman Knoplock is that?
Hi, my name's Zachary, and I am an alien.
Oh dear, this is embarrassing for me.
Holy heck! Someone tase that inhuman thing.
Wait, I'm a good alien. Behold my curly locks and enormous mustache.
That was kind of the look I was going to go for next.
Phew! It's clear to me that we have lots to learn from each other. You with your wonderful grooming tips and us with our dental hygiene and ability to invent inane board games.
Also, ma'am, I have become very intrigued by this earthly thing you call podcast.
Oh, yes, podcast. You'll be wanting to listen to the After Movie Diner.
Hello, and welcome to the After Movie Diner. And this is the episode you've all been waiting for. Oh yes. Because this is the episode where we get the New York Dohlerites back together to cover the last two officially released Don Dohler and Joe Ripple productions. Yes, indeed. Tonight we are looking at Vampire Sisters and Dead Hunt. But more from that later. First up, a bit of non-Dohler-related news. We are very excited to announce that there is a sequel in the works to the Fred Williamson, Pam Grier, and Jim Brown starring original gangsters called Old School Gangsters, for which a Kickstarter campaign was started this very day. You can get all the information you need about the exciting, action-packed Fred Williamson starring, written and directed by sequel to original gangsters old school gangsters over at kickassactionnews.blogspot.com. That's right, it's Kick-Ass Action News, so it's over at kickassactionnews.blogspot.com. Go check that out, and after you've read our write-up of exactly what the sequel will entail, go over to the Kickstarter campaign, for which there is a link on that page, and donate some money. Okay, so coming up now on The Diner is an interview that we did with none other than longtime Dohler associate, accomplished graphic artist, Baltimore resident, fan, friend, and longtime communicator with the show. All-round swell guy. It is none other than Mr. Robert Long. Yes, indeed. What up, the Baltimore peeps? Robert Long. We were happy to get him on the show, happy to talk to him, and the other night, Phil, Nick, and I sat down and did just that. Talked to him, and we're about to play that tape now. Alright, dude, I just started recording the call. Can you hear us alright?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, excellent. Well, you're sat here with me, John, obviously, and then you've got Nick here. Hello. And we've got Phil.
Hello. Hello, gentlemen. How are you this evening?
Fantastic. Great. Just finished Dead Hunt.
Oh, what'd you think of it?
We all loved it. I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Across the board.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And I know you're interested, but I think we all dug the score as well.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely my favorite of the time warp films, and I think at the end there you see that Don and Joe were really starting to be a well-oiled professional machine at that point.
Oh yeah, I mean I have to say I think Stakes is still my favorite time warp film, but that's got to do with the fact that Leanna and George get more time in that movie. You know, I mean obviously Leanna's prominent in Dead Hunt, but George just has the cameo. I think George is a kick-ass priest. It's always going to be my favorite of the time warps. But Dead Hunt is very well made, and definitely see what you mean about like the improvement in production values. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and I mean definitely George had a very small part, unfortunately, in Dead Hunt, but he's at least still there. So
yeah, he popped a wallet in his small role.
Yes,
he always does.
He always does. He's always special in the role.
And Leanna gets a spectacular death scene. So
that was one of the things that I mean that was possibly not like we don't want to see Leanna die, but it was certainly my favorite scene in terms of shocking death. I enjoyed that.
I just wanted to say we down here in Baltimore love the New York Dohlerites. So. We think you guys are fantastic for all the, you guys have a sincere appreciation of what Don and Joe and everybody down here has done. So, we're fanatics about you guys.
Well,
you're fans of us and we're fans of you. I mean, George and Leanna, we're always talking about you guys.
The feeling is mutual.
Definitely.
Absolutely. But other than that, I mean, what was, obviously you guys are going to go on and discuss the movie, and I take it you haven't watched Vampire Sisters yet?
No, we actually watched both of them. We rushed on to Dead Hunt so that we could talk to you after, but we like to watch them chronologically. So, we did see them both, and we did enjoy them both. We enjoyed both of them. Obviously, Dead Hunt has a completely different vibe, but there was a lot to enjoy in Vampire Sisters.
I really like Vampire Sisters. I feel like I wasn't expecting as much just because of what I knew it was about going into it.
Sure.
But I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
I thought it was well shot. And
I thought it was great. And I mean, I don't mean like I loved it when it ended. I mean, I loved the ending of the movie.
Yeah, the great thing about Vampire Sisters is you get a really good look at Joe's home.
Oh, that's Joe's home, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Joe and Don, being do-it-yourself type filmmakers, obviously you shoot a lot out of your homes, and you got to see a lot of it in Stakes. You got to see a lot of it in Vampire Sisters.
Oh, he really...
Yeah, you get to see a lot of Joe in that
the
movie.
undressing scene really, it's very titillating.
Yes.
Did you like George's scene in Vampire Sisters?
Listen, I'm not going to say that I liked it. It made me a little uncomfortable, but it was powerful scene.
You know, George was just being himself.
That's right.
I mean,
it's great acting.
what would anybody else have done?
It's supposed to be disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Very Ken with George Silver.
Yeah.
So I always thought that was Don's home. So that's Joe's home in those movies. Is it the same home as is in Harvesters?
No. The home in Harvesters, that's Don's. And the home in the early Dohlers, that's Don's as well. But starting with stakes with the cops' home and that sort of thing, that becomes Joe's.
So Joe's the one with the really nice deck then.
That's a nice deck.
That's a great deck.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a lot of deck scenes in the movie which we liked. People climbing up the decks.
So and
massive basement. Everyone has a huge basement in Baltimore. I clearly need to move
but
there.
Joe's basement is nice and finished. It's got the nice couch.
Yeah, it's got a great cellar.
Oh man. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Joe's man cave is definitely down in his basement, and Don's, of course, was that never-ending one. I think it's as John would say, it's part of the TARDIS.
Yeah.
So.
That's what's fantastic about it, is it's never ending, and you can go down there and hide from anyone. In fact, there was a bit in Vampire Sisters where there were girls running away, and I immediately said, go to the basement. You'll be safe in the basement. Because that's the key to what we're going with. And had she stayed in the basement, she would have been fine, but she had to get all curious, and that's when the shit really hit the fan, I think.
Yeah, well... And then you have James Waltz, I think that's his name, his 7-minute tour of the abode. So
yeah,
yeah, Don is known for his walking scenes. So
it started off with a nice deck walk. He's checking out the deck.
Yeah. And I'm going to have to bring goggles or something when I come to Baltimore because there's more dry ice in that town than any other place I've ever seen on film. There was Vampire Sisters was like thick with dry ice. It was fantastic. But you're safe if you hug the fir trees. That's what you need to do, is the hugging of the fir trees.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Oh, gosh.
It's fantastic. We seriously did it. We had a great time.
Well, now, I do have to get to work pretty soon, but I'll leave you guys with this. Now, in respect to Death Hunt, obviously most of those people were probably very new to you as far as the actors were concerned.
In Death Hunt, the only people we knew was Joe, Leanna, and then obviously just from the documentary, Sarah Cole.
Right.
Because she's one of the people who does the commentary on the Blood, Boobs and Peace. She talks about being hired in the movie there. I didn't realize she was going to have such a big role, actually. I was quite surprised she was the final girl.
Oh, yeah, and she turned out to be quite the actress. She's pretty good in it.
Oh, yeah, she's great. And then, obviously, Justin Timpain, he makes movies now, right?
Yes, he's the Mr. Ninjas versus whatever. Yeah, ninjas versus zombies, ninjas versus vampires, ninjas versus monsters. So, yeah, it's kind of a trilogy that works together.
They were quite successful, weren't they? They were quite big. I'd heard of them, I think.
Yes. They're doing well. They're getting ready to release that last one, which is the Monsters. But anybody is in those. I mean, you'll see guest shots of Joe and George and Leanna and everybody else in there. And
now that we've done all the Dohlers, I've already bought Swarm at the Snakehead. I already picked that up.
Good.
I picked up all of the Chris Lamartina movies that are available on Amazon, so I bought all of those. So Tim Payne's work will be the next ones we watch. I mean, we'll have to really pick those up, and we'll spread our wings in terms of Baltimore filmmaking and find some other great stuff, I'm sure.
Oh, and thank you for sending. We'll have to do this as well as part of another La Martina podcast. But thank you for sending us the Halloween special. Can't wait to watch that as well.
Oh, I hope you guys enjoy it. It is a found footage film, and it's probably the most successful thing in recent years that has come out of Baltimore. So we're pretty proud of Chris LaMartina and Jimmy George for that. So, I got a write-up in New York Times and all that jazz.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We love, I don't think we saw it, but we loved the Witch's Brew President's Day
Big time.
double bill. That was fantastic.
Oh yeah, I especially loved President's Day because, of course, it's a whodunit slasher, which is my genre. But yeah, they've really done a great job around here, and they've got that new one, Call Girl of Cthulhu, coming out.
Wow.
But so I'm kind of sorry that it's the last of the Dohlers for you guys. I mean, Don, we wish that he was around for years and years, just continuing to do this.
Yeah, it's sort of bittersweet for us as well. I mean, obviously, when we do eventually get down there, we'll want to see what there is of Crawler, but
it's coming along. Yeah, I know. I've been saying that for years.
I
feel like we were kind of saving these last two because we knew they were the last ones.
Yeah, we've been saving them for a while. Yeah, they've been sat on my shelf, and I'm like, we've got to tear off that Band-Aid.
Right.
Yeah, well, but luckily his legacy does live on down here because we've all taken kind of the torch, and I mean, Don had 11 good movies, 10 of which you guys have now seen, and we got other weird and wacky stuff for you guys to check out down here, and we hope someday you guys can make it down here. We'd love to take your vacations and meet and greet like Dick Dizell or George or all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure quite how we'll be able to cope with that. That sounds amazing. Seriously, I'm not sure. I'm going to just be shaking with nerves all day, man, if that ever happens. I think if I ever meet Stover, my brain's going to implode. And then if you add Dizell and Chamish and all that to it as well, I don't know, man. I'm not sure. That's crazy. Did you see Charlie from the Charlie Farley movies had gone to the Alien Factor screening in LA and had got those great pictures of the Lemoyne?
Yes. And it's amazing that still is around. And I think that's fantastic. That he still thinks fondly about that and still kept the stuff, even though he's gone on to do much bigger things out there. Well, guys, I had more time to talk. But I got to meet with Steven Seagal. And I've been watching Don Dohler movies for 40 years, Johnny. And I played all the monsters until I ate them.
Tremendous, sir. I like that. Well done. Fantastic.
Thank you for having me on. Keep up the great work. I know you guys don't get together as often as you'd like, but whenever you guys do, it is a tremendous treat for us down here in Baltimore. So we'll keep plugging about the After Movie Diner because we love you guys.
Well, that's very kind of you, man. The pleasure is all ours, man. So thanks ever so much for talking with us this evening. Send all our best and Merry Christmas and everything to the guys down there, and have a Happy New Year.
Will do. As a matter of fact, I got my Christmas card from Dick Dizell today. So.
What kind of a life do you lead, man? Rubbing shoulders with a Dizell like that, that's incredible.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys have a fantastic weekend, and I'm glad you love the movies because, Don and Joe, they did some good stuff. So.
Yeah, it'll make a good episode, man. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys have a wonderful holiday season. I'll talk to you later.
Hi, man. Take care.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm John Cross. You may know me from the internet. Then again, you may not. I've been asked by the incomparable Mo Porn from that famous podcasting institution, Drunk on VHS, to say a few words in promotion of his show and drunkonvhs.com, as it's coming back to the internet and we're all really thrilled. I'm not quite sure why Mo couldn't do it himself, but there it is. It's not like I was busy or anything. In fact, I lie around my apartment in just my Power Ranger underpants waiting for his lordship Mo Porn to set me a task that only ultimately benefits him. Clearly he had other far more pressing matters to attend to. Maybe he was doing a series of pictograms depicting his favourite bacon-based stains. Who knows? It's Mo. He could be cataloguing the number of appearances of a dwarf's nipple from a black and white underground abuse movie of the 1960s. He could be lining up his Burt Reynolds video covers in order of ludicrous facial poses and wig status. Clearly it's much easier if I stop everything I'm doing, audiobooks, interviewing Robert Davi, performing acts of pleasure on a photograph of Mayim Bialik, the actress from Blossom, to tell you all that Drunk on VHS is back. Follow Drunk on VHS on Facebook, Twitter, and read articles and listen to brand new shows every week on drunkonvhs.com. Now leave me alone, Mo. Well, unless you need me to guest, in which case I'm your man.
Hey, Iris, you know what we should do? We should try to get Fred Olen Ray on the show.
Why would he want to come on our show?
Hi, this is Fred Olen Ray, and you're listening to the Badasses, Boobs, and Body Count podcast.
Okay, what about Olaf Ittenbach, Germany's Splatter King?
That'd be great, but I doubt he speaks any English.
I'm Olaf Ittenbach, and you're listening to the Badasses, Boobs, and Body Count podcast.
What about the director of Blood-Sucking Freaks, Joel M. Reed?
Isn't he dead?
This is Joel M. Reed, and you're listening to Badass Boobs and Body Counts podcast.
No, Iris, he's not. Hello, I'm Mike, host to the Badasses, Boobs, and Body Counts podcast.
And I'm Iris, co-host of the Badasses, Boobs, and Body Counts podcast.
Every week in Iris discuss lesser-known action, exploitation, and horror cult cinema.
Mike and I discuss films like The Black Godfather, The Beast That Killed Women, and Biozombie, to name just a few.
And every now and then we get to speak with the people behind all the films we love to talk about.
Okay, how about this, Mike? Let's get Andy Sedaris on the show and talk girls, guns, and G-strings.
Yeah, Iris, he's actually really dead, but we did manage to talk to his wife, Arlene, way back in episode 20.
Well, I suppose that's the next best thing.
Yeah, I suppose so. So the Badasses, Boobs, and Body Counts podcast can be found on iTunes, on Stitcher Smart Radio, and on SoundCloud. Just search for the BB&BC podcast to start listening today. You can also visit the show's website at badassesboobsandbodycounts.com. Okay, Iris, did you keep track of the boob and body counts on the film we're discussing next week?
No, I thought you were doing that this week.
No, I've seen this. Boy,
no, it was you. It was you.
Look, from now on, let's both do that.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, shall we get started?
Good, dude.
Yeah, no, we're starting.
Yeah.
This is it. This is
how we start.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the After Movie Diner. And this one has been decades, I feel like, in the making, or at least 2 years since we started down this long and gloriously beautiful road of Don Dohler films, which has sadly, or at least for the moment anyway, come to a bittersweet end.
What do you mean for the moment?
And, well, because there's an unreleased one.
Oh, I see.
So I'm going to do it again.
Okay.
Hello and welcome yet again to another After Movie Diner episode. And I feel like this podcast is literally decades in the
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We had to, loosen up the mouth so we can all talk. So we're not saying blurbs.
Yes, blubs. Blubs. Hello and welcome.
Hello.
Hello and welcome to yet another After Movie Diner. And this week, this episode is around 10 years in the making, or, well, at least 2 years since we started on this beautiful, wonderful, winding road of Don Dohler films. It has come to a bittersweet ending right now. As Phil slowly dies in the corner. Where this week we are covering the final two of the official released Don Dohler films, Vampire Sisters and Dead Hunt. And it is, we have with us here this evening, to my left,
Mayor Burt Wicker.
And to his left we have...
Phil.
And to his left we have...
Raymond.
Nice.
Boy.
And I'm going to be, for this episode, Rick Stillwell.
Rick Stillwell.
Fine, then I'm churchwoman number 1. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll be Iggy.
And you're Raymond.
No, yeah, I want to be Raymond.
You're going to be Raymond. Okay, excellent. So we're going to start off with 2004's Vampire Sisters. And why don't we start, Nick? Do you want to kind of drill the plot into some kind of shape for us?
I don't know if that's possible, but you got 3 vampire sisters.
Very shapely, right?
Yeah, well, they have shapes.
Yes.
They have a website that they use to lure.
A high-tech website.
Yeah, oh no, it's
got pictures and everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Clickable elements.
HTML.
Yeah.
www dot.
Yeah.
And they lure.
We have to spend a certain amount on the site, which I feel like, I don't know why, if they needed to feed, why they were limiting themselves to people who only spent thousands of dollars. Because they kept saying, oh, we want to eat, but then we have to wait for this guy to be eligible for like special treatment.
Well, they really wanted him to be aroused.
Dedicated.
Yeah. Well,
Right, because they said that, the blood of someone who was aroused was better. Hey, don't laugh.
It's about the hat. The hat really...
It's the hat and the deadly serious
Don't judge me by
face.
my hat.
No, that's true. I remember that.
No, I know they said that, but my point is...
information here for once.
Wonderful. The website, they were charging people for like a glimpse of leg or a glimpse of cleavage or a glimpse of whatever, $20 here, $20 there, blah, 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 blah. But if someone spent a lot on the website, they gave them special treatment, which basically meant they could come round to their house, they would like put on a tiny show for them and then eventually kill them.
Right.
Right. But they kept going on about how hungry they were, and they kept saying that they had other people on the website who were spending money, but just not enough. And I wondered...
Yeah, but they had a steady stream of dudes spending enough. I mean, one after another, they kept showing
every
up.
night.
Yeah, I just wonder why they were so picky.
No, but a couple times they went out and just got someone. Like they got the Spanish girl.
Sure. As long as they felt they could arouse
them.
them.
The French girl, too.
How did she show up?
She came in through the site, I think.
She did. They said she wanted
the French girl.
Yeah.
But yes, basically the movie is, for the most part, a stream of customers coming to the Vampire Sisters and being bumped off one by one in a variety of different ways, which was also interesting because although they were vampires and could have just killed them, one presumes with their strength and or teeth, they were killed in a variety of ways. Yeah. And we had Stoves took a machete to the face, or a cleaver to the face.
Yeah, meat cleaver. Yeah,
meat cleaver, that was it. The machete was the other one.
Actually a good shot. Because you see it actually going in. And what was that? Half his head was...
No, they just have a cleaver with a gap cut out of it.
Oh, okay. Because I thought that was actually a very cool effect.
It was very cool.
And the first shot was... We always flinched when that guy got it... in between the legs. The meat cleaver. That was the first horrific one where we're
I'll tell you, this was the most disturbing
that was
movie.
like an
There were
ice
some scenes that just made me I was very uncomfortable.
You can't even form sentences.
I mean, it's up there with Blood Massacre in terms of what the fuckery, in terms of like where did he get this idea from?
Yeah, it is up there in terms of what the fuckery.
Yeah. I felt that, and I thought that there was lots of gory kills. That was the other thing. So the vampires didn't just like bite them. I mean, they drained them once they were dead, but they brought a meat hook up into a guy's groin, which was just unbearable to watch.
Right.
Then there was the Joe Ripple got
drilled
through both eyes.
Both eyes. Yeah,
sure.
And then we also thought it was hard to watch the George Stover.
That was unsettling for other reasons.
Well, yes, because each client had different things they wanted.
Right.
Some people wanted that.
And then there were multiple. Every kind of strip scene involved kind of like an old dude stripping down to nothing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There was the first guy who got the meat hook.
Oh yeah.
Well, he got down to his large white boxers with a kind of old ratty T-shirt.
And then you had Joe Ripple with his big disarming scene.
The rips. I feel like the rips cameo in this was my favorite.
Oh, it was fantastic.
when they
The whole-
open the door and he's just leaning.
He's just
against
there,
the screen door,
like a James Dean almost.
Yeah.
Who's
but,
your
but like
daddy,
an old
you know?
kind of accountant-looking James Dean, but in a good way.
Sure.
Sure. No, he looks like a kind of hip businessman.
A hip businessman, yeah.
But, and not only that, but
Like Huey Lewis.
who are these
He looks
people
like a
who
hip
dressed up?
businessman.
Yeah,
Oh, the other-
they dressed up like the other guy was in a three-piece suit.
Sure.
Rips
Was
was
the
in
first
like a
guy.
really nice
Yeah.
thing. Like if you're just going to derobe, jeans and a tee will do fine.
No, it's all
The
part of
other
the
thing
show.
that was shocking was the French lady. When the one girl, we think that she's just under the cover somewhere.
Oh.
Next thing we know, she's standing like 10 feet back
That
with
was
this
disturbing,
long
yeah.
green tongue.
Like snake-like tongue.
Yeah, that was.
And then I guess it
nowhere.
killed her like that. Because I
Yeah,
couldn't
well,
tell
that's
if she's
what
dying
happens.
or having an orgasm. And then it looked like she died.
You know, sometimes the
a
line
little
is
bit
so
both.
thin. You just don't know.
Do you want to tell us what that's
It's
like?
like
Phil?
Hellraiser.
Oh, I know all about that. You think
Boy.
your life's just going to end, and then
Oh my
you know,
god.
Yeah, and then it doesn't, and then
it
you're
doesn't.
still there. Then you wake up the
It's
next
just
morning
pure euphoria.
to the smell of ground coffee and farts.
So no, it was like, so there were
Indeed.
some slow bits.
Yeah.
Then interspersed with some bits were like, whoa, you know, and it would like wake you up again kind of.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Jolt
because
you into.
because the premise was, to be fair, set up at the beginning and not really expanded much upon.
Yeah,
That's fair
it
to
didn't
say.
have the trademark Dohler plot twists.
It didn't have like the
in-depth.
triple layers. They normally have multiple storylines going on.
But
and
I
different
think
character
the
things.
pacing of the movie was pretty.
Oh no,
interesting.
the pacing was great, but what I mean is because it didn't expand upon the storyline, what they did do was expand with each death. That was going to be the point that I made. They explored different ways to off people. They brought the elements in of sex and violence, which they, in order to sell the movies by the 2000s, they had to include. While obviously there was a lot more exploitation in this, I enjoyed the fact that it wasn't just, and now here's a 5-minute sex scene. They did stuff with it that was different. They had the shocking ending of the woman-on-woman bit. They had Ripple on the couch
Ripple
with
on
the
the
whole
couch.
bit. That was fantastic.
Now
They
I
had-
know why they call him Joe Ripple.
yeah. Oh boy, do we ever! And with the eyes and the whole bit. I thought, considering the fairly small premise, they did a good job for 80 minutes
I couldn't agree more.
expanding on it.
Yep.
Well, there were a few times though I didn't know what was going on, like the guy with the leather jacket. How he was, because I wasn't sure if he was just a peeping Tom or
Oh,
what,
the extra
like
from
what,
Greece.
Well, yeah.
He
what
wandered in
attracted
from the
him to
high
him.
school
And then finally
performance
you
of Danny
realized he was
Zuko.
looking for his brother that disappeared.
Right.
But
And his
maybe
car
if we knew
greased
that ahead
lightning.
of time, I don't know, because that went on a little long before we figured out what his deal was.
But that was
there
nice.
were a lot of great deck shots in that.
Yeah.
You got to see the deck multiple
You got
times.
to
love
know
that
the
deck,
house
man. That
inside
deck-
out.
It was like the side the area of the whole house
Yeah,
with
On the
a
deck.
staircase up the middle.
It was
dissecting
ornate.
into- yeah.
yeah.
You could
and
have a whole
vast.
party on that
They have a
deck.
grill out there and
Yeah.
everything.
I would like to know just how big
Recliner.
that house was.
Phil wants to know the square footage.
Raymond came in at one point and said, like, how many floors does this house have? And it would, I think, about 18 floors. I think we counted in the end. There was multiple floors.
Especially when the Hispanic girl kept running.
Oh,
back.
she was
I
all
couldn't
over the
make-
place.
I couldn't.
Well, we didn't know if she was
the
Hispanic or
basement.
German. There was some debate
Oh,
there.
well, I
Phil has trouble with that.
I could have sworn, right.
They're very similar. They're both romantic.
I live in New York City, yet I think everybody
Especially when
speaks
Phil's
German.
involved.
Yeah,
Everything gets romantic.
Everything gets romantic.
yeah. He's the only person who's.
I was dropped as a young child.
Yeah. He's the only person who's lived
You
in
were
a
also
Hispanic-speaking, like a Spanish-speaking country, right? Or Portuguese-speaking country.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing.
I said
all
Hispanic
sounded
to
the
begin with,
same.
but I'm just saying you're the only one who's lived in a South American country.
I have.
For
Yeah.
tax purposes, we're not going to reveal which one.
I can't take the hat. It's the jingle.
And yet you swore she spoke German at one point.
No, but to be fair,
The way she
Portuguese
said
is kind of
one
a mix
word.
between French and Spanish.
So she could have been Portuguese now. I wish we'd asked Robert this
I'm so
question. We just
confused.
had Robert on the phone and
She
we didn't
may have
ask
been
him.
the girl from Ipanema.
She could have been the girl
Oh.
from Ipanema. But yes, there were multiple floors in the house. There
Yes.
was-
No, so I didn't quite ever understand if it was just 2 floors or 3 floors?
It was a 3-floor.
Well, there was landings and basements, and then there was like whole floors.
Right. So which is fine. I'm not saying I needed to know, but I'm just as a viewer, I was never quite sure what floor they were on.
Here's what it was.
I could have done with a blueprint. I don't know about you at the beginning of the movie.
Just an establishing shot. One like the Scorsese Goodfellas shot through the Copacabana.
Like the beginning of Halloween.
Exactly. Follow one of them. No, that's such a perfect thing what you just said.
That's what I want. I want that for Joe Ripple's house.
Or a Brian De Palma tracking shot, like at the beginning of Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
No, what he said was a Goodfellas. That's what
no, what Nick said was better. Yeah. Right.
No, it was, because it was just perfect. You got to know the layout of that casino.
I think it was you got the living room and kitchen is on one level. Then you go down to this little vestibule area. That's kind of halfway between the living room and the basement. Then you go down to the basement, or you could go up to this like half.
Where was the deck?
The deck was on the kitchen level,
which was middle.
Which is like above the
second
vestibule.
Floor.
Yeah, but then I used to live in a house like this that had a front door that was on a level that did not exist anywhere else in the house. It was its own level, and you walk in the front door, you had to either go up or down to one of the floors.
Oh, now I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is that why I was getting stuck? Because there was a non-level floor?
I think so.
That's what a vegetable is?
A vegetable?
That's what a vegetable is, yeah. A vegetable is a floor that doesn't
almost
exist.
as bad as
Brody's had too many Christmas cookies.
She has had
What
one
did I
too
say?
many
Blubber?
sugared
Blub.
blubbers. So,
One quick question also.
yes, one other quick question from the gallery.
I kind of forgot it through that whole scene, but it was...
That's great. You know, that's fantastic in a podcast when someone has a question and forget it.
Nick pointed out, though, on the sofa in the basement / mid-floor, there was a big pillar so that the person sitting on the edge of the couch would actually get to see the big screen TV.
Right.
Because there would be the column.
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
And we were just thinking, would they draw straws? I mean, who would have that unlucky seat? But
we talked a bit about the deaths. Let's talk about some of the performances, shall we?
I'd love to.
Okay, so the 3 main women in the movie were Darla Albornoz. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that.
She was my favorite.
Sorry,
Yeah.
she was... What?
Had nothing
Darla
to do
Albornoz. I'll say it like you said.
Had nothing to do with her looks.
What?
Easy, Phil.
That she was my favorite because she was like, as an actress, she was like, first of all, she had a Mid-Atlantic accent, which
a
Mid-Atlantic. See, it's like
a Milwaukee accent.
Look,
that's a
anytime,
like the Twin City with Milwaukee.
No,
what is a
but like, what was
Milwaukee
the Beware of the River Beast?
Mid-Atlantic. Okay.
Beware of the River Beast, right? That movie.
Don't Let the River Beast Get You. By
Thank you,
Charlie and Farley.
Anyway,
I am afraid of the river beast.
Yes. The River Beast is my best friend. Whatever.
Right. Christmas on the River.
That's
with
the
the
one
River
where
Beast.
like the old officer was that older dude from New Hampshire, right? That had like a.
You mean his dad? You mean Edo Hootkins?
Thank you. Yes.
Right, the guy who.
Anyway,
was,
this like had the thickest New England accent you can imagine.
Right.
And was awesome.
Yes,
And I mean,
he was. Yeah.
That's why I liked.
Darla Albornoz.
Right, Darla. Yeah.
Yeah. Classic.
She had the accent, and she was also like.
She played Dawn.
Like I could have seen her in Blurb.
Right.
Blood. You know.
Good.
Boobs,
And then second
right.
up was Cyn DeVille. Now she was in
Steaks.
Steaks.
I'm fucking useless over here. That's true.
Phil, stop
it's true.
it. You
know it is.
You're
Come
a
on.
solid goal. He's editing that.
Come on.
out.
This guy, he's going to edit it so it's just Phil.
It's just Phil. We're not
Come
going to
on.
be here.
Yeah.
We're just going to have dead space.
I had thoughts in my head that
I like that
wanted
Darla
to-
Albornoz had a Milwaukee accent.
but-
I like that he didn't understand that he said mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
No,
I cannot believe I've made it this far in life.
Had a mid-Atlantic accent.
And then fathom how this is happening.
So Cyn DeVille, what did you think of her, Phil?
She was cool.
She was the one in Steaks, the shorter one with the larger, faker chest.
No, she was good still. Yeah.
Yeah, she had
her role really expanded from Steaks. She got a lot more screen time.
Yeah, she had a lot more tongue.
Yeah, that was
just in inches. and feet.
I think that the trio worked really well together. Actually, now that
height,
like while I may have
talking about
favorite,
height, what about the third one of our triptych of evil?
Sure,
which was played by Jeannie Michelle Jameson.
Yep, she had some.
I may have had a favorite, but they worked well together
as a triptych.
Yeah.
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
But what about the height of Jeannie? Jeannie's height.
Phil, what about her height?
She was pretty tall.
You commented on it throughout the movie.
Did I?
I thought Nick did, actually.
I think we all did.
Okay.
Yeah.
In our own way.
Okay.
Did you like them or not at all,
I like the
Raymond?
Leanna character.
You like Leanna's character?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, we haven't mentioned about that subplot, have we, to be fair?
No, the cops.
The cops.
No.
Let's bring that up now, because that's got Leanna in it, and this is her main role in the movie. So let's talk about that for a bit. Good. So there was two vice cops. One of them was Mark Lassise, played Detective Sonny Renko.
Mm-hmm.
Mark and Leanna played vice squad cops.
Vice squad cops
who were investigating.
They were investigating. They were the only ones that suspected something or something to that effect, and so they planned a sting on. Oh, see, I'm making sense now.
Yeah.
They planned a sting on the vampire site. They had to get themselves in there somehow, which meant that they had to go through the website.
Which means you had to keep spending money on the website.
Yes, indeed.
Right,
to be
so they wasted tons of taxpayers' money.
They sure did.
Yeah. On a website when they could have just gone, are you luring people to have... Or they could have staked out the place and watched them lure people in.
Oh, and that was mentioned. In fact, they go out to the movie and watch Stake.
Good point, Raymond. Oh, yes. Tell us all about that. What did they do?
Well, when I forgot the DeVille one, went and got the Hispanic/German girl for her own tasty treat. She came home to share it with the other two girls, and then she's like, oh, they left her a note saying we went out to see the movie.
No. DeVille went out to the movie. It was Jeannie who stayed home. It was the tall one.
Yeah. But you're right. So she...
So DeVille and...
Well,
Dohler...
The tall one. No.
The tall one stayed home, but DeVille and Dohler went out to the movies and they went out and saw Stake.
And they saw Stake. So they made a reference to...
and earlier in the movie, she was reading your book.
Yeah, B-Movie Horrors.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is a great book. Everyone should check it out.
My favourite thing, though, because there was one point where the vampire was reading Jeannie was reading a book on the joy of sex or something to do with...
Joy of cooking.
Was it Joy of Cooking?
The Joy of Cooking.
Yeah, that's a famous book.
So it's The Joy of Sex.
Yes.
The Joy of Sex is a famous book.
They're so reading The Joy of Cooking. That's what she was reading.
It was no, I couldn't see cooking. I could just see joy.
Oh, yeah. It was the white book with the red font.
So there was a point in the movie where she was reading The Joy of Cooking, but then later on in the movie she was reading a book on vampires, which I didn't understand because she was a vampire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there is that.
I read books on, Italians all the time.
John, you probably read books on podcasting. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like...
No, I don't know.
Can't
you tell from the show?
But that's what I mean. You know what I mean? It's like...
but that's what I mean.
I'm trying to tell you. If you were in a movie, you'd be reading a book on podcasting.
Making a podcast about Italians.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about the box of chocolates, though?
Oh, Stover brought back round a box of Russell Stover chocolates.
Yes.
Very nice.
Little
and then there
right
was,
there.
but they also put in, they were true vampires. They could go out in the daylight.
Right.
When the missionaries or whoever knocked on their door, they had a Bible, and she actually turned around. That was another,
That was Mitch Klein.
Oh, okay.
Who does the special effects and also did the music for this film.
I guess at the end they had a list of all the songs from the movie.
No, that's who produced it, but Mitch Klein definitely...
No, but they had the composer of each song. It was different for each one.
You're talking about Bjorn
No, I mean,
Lynn.
each one had a different composer.
I don't think so.
It did. Check it. Go back and check.
It was all Bjorn Lynn, I think.
No, there were a lot of different ones.
It makes sense.
Joe Ripple did he composed the last
Unless
one.
there were specific songs that were used, which were written by the people listed at the end, but otherwise the whole soundtrack was done.
That's what it says. But then if you look at the end, there were 5 or 6 songs, each that had a different composer. Each one had a different composer.
Well, maybe Mitch Klein got them all together.
They all sound a little different.
There were a lot of different themes.
Yeah, because we, in fact,
I don't think that. I think they just had the same production company.
Different composers.
Okay.
Each one had a different composer.
Okay.
Check it out.
But taking that into consideration, because the only names that I recognised from the actual credits are on here, Mitch Klein and Bjorn Lynn. What was your feeling on the score?
I love the music. It was like a full-fledged soundtrack to every kind of Lifetime movie
every
that
scene,
exists.
every
There was
mood.
you had the sex music.
Yes,
which was panpipes.
Well, no, there were 2 different kinds, which is exactly accurate. You have the weird Indian
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the first time around.
And then you have the ethereal love theme,
like the Baroque major key.
Yeah.
Vanilla.
And then when the missionaries were knocking on the door, it became the comedic.
Yeah, they had
the circus
there was the funny
type.
music.
Yeah.
Then there was lots of like Terminator style music, just like rhythmic stuff and exciting scenes.
Yeah. No, we really thought if you didn't watch the film and you listened to the soundtrack first,
you would know exactly what's happening.
You would, but you would also not understand what kind of movie it was.
See, I think you would know it. Well, you wouldn't know it was a vampire movie, but you would know. This is dramatic.
You think that it's
this is dangerous.
A scary
this is
movie,
funny.
Or would you think it's a comedy?
I would think it was a Lifetime movie. It was.
Okay.
It had sex scenes and funny stuff and action scenes, which it did.
Okay.
Each scene had the proper music for it,
Yeah.
which you don't usually see in movies like this.
No, that's true. Because usually they have a general theme.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell it was MIDI. It wasn't like an orchestra or anything.
Sure, yeah.
But it was perfectly accurate and really well done.
And on the Knotblock scale, what do you give it?
Well, you can't compare it to Knotblock. It's a totally different vibe.
But on the Knotblock scale...
I'm not going to rate it on the Knotblock scale.
Okay.
I'm going to rate it on the I don't know, the standard...
How about the Dohler scale? Was this one of the better soundtracks?
It was perfect for what the movie was.
Okay.
It was absolutely perfect.
All right.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was well done.
It did stand out.
Well executed.
I will say. Yeah.
And
But I also, when we talk about the next film, I also like that one. I like the reverb, which I've heard is really a term that they made. What?
No.
I don't know all the terms.
Hey, I mean, there were no reverb. I mean,
So let's just hit the main points again then. Leanna, how was she? She was good in this one?
I thought so. I was surprised she died.
Yeah, I didn't want her to die. I wanted her to be the hero.
Her and that guy.
Yeah, but I always like it when the person who you want to live dies.
Right.
They get a good death scene. And
She got a great death scene. But yeah, they were hunting down people, and that's how they came across online. And then there's a big showdown at the end, and we get to reveal Iggy, who is the third part of this movie, which is that on top of draining some of the bodies themselves, they have to keep feeding Iggy.
Who's their older brother, it turns out.
Well, we only find that out at the end.
That's where they bring all the bodies.
Right. But I actually thought he was horrific, and that would have been a nice continuation.
Right. Well, there was plans to make a Vampire Sisters 2, or at least Joe was talking about it on the documentary, but sadly Don's death put a stop to it.
But I like that. The most effective scary part, I guess, if you want, of the movie comes at the very end. Packs a punch.
Yeah. Well, even the arm, when it first came onto screen, I thought that was the creature's arm, which made it seem really long.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, ooh, this is a real distorted thing. And then he drops it, and you realize that was just something that he was eating.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Oh, no, it's great. I love the end of this. I mean, I said it to Robert. I love the end of this movie. I think it was
so actually,
really
no
great.
one survives except
No.
Iggy. Iggy
Except
was the only
Iggy.
one that survived.
Don't ruin it.
Well, we've already ruined it by revealing that Iggy is the brother, because that's
Yeah.
the ending of the movie. Because she's like, you might kill us, but you haven't met our brother. And it's Iggy with this huge
My hope was that
face of
See, I
evil.
didn't know Iggy was Iggy because Stover's character got eliminated around the same time that I became aware of
Oh,
the
someone in the
Iggy character.
shed. Yeah.
So, like, in my mind, Stover was in the shed,
Trying to
and
come out, yeah.
my hope was that Stover had become some abomination and some
That's always your hope, yeah.
Our hope as hardcore
That's what I
Dohlerites is
thought
that we
Stover
want
was gonna
Stover back in the film.
Pretty much.
Right, I think that's what it was.
I think I have to say, in Stover's
Rooting for
performance, and we before we go on to Dead Hunt, I've got some notes from George and Leanna themselves about Vampire Sisters that I want to read out. But George's performance is disturbing because his thing, because each client has a different, fetish that they're preying on. His thing is peeking through doorways at
pigtails.
Girls prancing.
Pigtails.
Right.
And look
at those pigtails.
Bounce up and down for me. Bounce up and down. Hit you like a barrel.
Heavy breathing.
Right, but he was heavy breathing and sweating in such a way that because you couldn't initially see his hands, it was disturbing that maybe he was doing more than just panting. But then at a certain point, he brought up a handkerchief and bit that instead. So instead of pleasuring himself, chewing on a handkerchief was the way he went.
Mm-hmm. It was very disturbing.
It was. It was great performing.
Yeah. Fantastic acting.
Yeah.
It's only because we're so used to, or I know he's been the culprit before, but I like him best when he's like the doctor assistant or the scientific guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was scientific in this one.
So okay,
wow, that's freaking cool.
Yeah, it is. George Stover said this. He said, "I wish all of you continued success with the show. One thing I remember from Vampire Sisters, which I can't remember if I ever mentioned it before publicly or not, concerns the scene in which I'm looking through the door at the girls."
Right.
He says, "Unfortunately, they weren't really there when I did that shot. I was reacting to an empty room. So just think how much better I could have done the scene if I had had the real-life inspiration or motivation provided by three pretty undulating girls in front of me. Instead, I just had to pretend that they were there."
Well, that's fantastic acting.
Wow.
Because he couldn't have been any more convincing.
Yeah, I was
pretty much. Yeah.
I thought he was looking through the door at those girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was looking through the door at me.
Well,
Leanna then comments on that scene in Vampire Sisters. She says, "George, that is exactly what I was going to say. You were hilarious talking dirty to an empty room. We were trying our best to stifle laughs so it wouldn't get onto the audio. You did fine without inspiration, in inverted commas, George. You were saying things like, reach into daddy's pocket, he's got some candy for you, pull the taffy, swing those pigtails, something like that.
That's the line.
I may have recorded it on video for the behind the scenes, but I don't think I have time to look for it. George, was there a problem with the axe to your head? Did it not stay there or fit right or something? I could be confusing it with Anne Marie's axe to the head in Dead Hunt, which didn't work well. I'll try to remember something else interesting about the shoots when you're recording the podcast."
That's a great Leanna Chamish accent, by the way.
Thank you. I do a great Chamish. Not so good George, but a great Chamish. So, wait, now let me just see. Is this about...
Yeah, the French Canadian, yeah. That would be about this.
Oh, okay, here we go. This is about the girl who came in very sort of shy and unassuming to begin with, kind of gothly dressed, but shy and unassuming. Actually ended up doing the most revealing role in the movie in terms of nudity and physicality.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Leanna says, the French-Canadian actress Isabelle Stevens was very nice. She came all the way down to do the film with cartoonist Rick Trembles, who has done some Dohler-related comics. Here is one. I think he's done more. Google the rest. They are cool. And I'll be putting them up on the website. I'll just get a reaction from you guys if you want to see.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
That's Galaxy Invader.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, Rick Tremble's motion picture Purgatory.
That's an awesome cartoon.
Galaxy Invader 1985.
Yeah.
Which is under is for Dohler, and you can find those over at snubdom.com. And I'll be putting them up on the website. Oh yeah, okay. Leanna goes on to say, I remember the general fun and surreal feeling of shooting all these scenes in Joe's home. The tongue scene was shot in the Ripple maritable... let me say this again. The tongue scene was shot in the Ripple maritable... Stop it. In the Ripple marital bed,
We covered Joe's living room in plastic for the oil show eye drilling scene. I was tied up in his laundry room and eaten in the kitchen. Bill got a hook to the crotch in the TV room. Good times. I do think Vampire Sisters was a shoot on which, as I was doing a scene of creeping stealthily, that Joe's dog jumped out of the shadows and scared me. It may be on the bloopers. Okay, so that's what we've got from George and Leanna, and then we've got one more bit from Leanna on Dead Hunt. But that's what George had to say on Vampire Sisters. Reactions, please. Bit of behind-the-scenes information, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I can't say enough about George Stover's acting. I mean, seriously.
Knowing that he wasn't looking at the actresses while he was...
That is actually very cool, because he really played it off like he was... I almost thought he was too into the scene. But now I realize, no.
Yeah, swing those pictures.
It really was just...
Because I don't know how you film that. Like, unless it's all part of the vibe, you know, unless they're really in there, and unless, like, the mood is a little bit...
but that's the genius of Stover. He doesn't need that. He can just access that headspace. He knows what that's like.
Right.
Yeah.
Just from life experience.
I don't want to know. But what about the guy at the beginning who walked up to the house, who'd clearly been taking lessons from Stover? In terms of the use of the body.
The three-piece suit guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he knew how to move like a Stover should.
Are you talking about him or the guy in the leather jacket?
No, not the leather jacket guy, the three-piece suit guy. Who had this kind of gait, this kind of lurch that only Stover usually possesses.
Oh, you mean the first guy that got killed?
I guess he was the
he was.
First, was he the...
His name is Bill, although he's not listed on IMDb. Leanna did make mention of him in a note.
That was the very first guy that got killed. Yeah.
He had a Stover sort of walk to him, and we wondered if Stover had tutored him in the ways of approaching a house in a Dohler movie.
Could be.
Okay, so any other comments on Vampire Sisters?
Nope, I think that covers it.
Well, we're up to a good halfway point, so let's move on now to Dead Hunt.
Dead Hunt.
And did you want to go, Phil? What was the plot of this movie?
Dead Hunt.
Yes. Well, as I remember, they were in a big factory warehouse kind of building.
They were in a big factory.
Factory warehouse. They're kind of one and the same. And it was a Comic-Con and...
Horror-Con.
Right, a horror-con. And it starts with the one girl she had like a cut on her arm and they're running away. Right? Am I giving away too much?
No. That's how the movie starts.
Yes, and then it... Right, so that's all you know. And then, like, all of a sudden, 9 hours earlier. Before that, by 9 hours. Are you with me still? Thank you.
The beauty is that podcasts will exist forever. This audio will just live on.
Thank you.
In eternity.
But anyway, then it goes back to 9 hours before that when the one character who was with the girl who was cut is in the car with another character who has like a certain crazy look, which I tried to replicate.
Okay, take over.
I think he sold it.
I think that's awesome.
What? I mean, they're on their way to the Comic-Con.
You tell the very beginning of the movie.
No, you're going scene by scene. Let me just paraphrase the plot. Basically, a bunch of people...
Well, fuck it, man. I don't know.
He does it to me too.
Why?
On. You're the best at the plot.
No, excuse us. Go ahead.
So I'll just sit here and watch you do the podcast.
No, but he did say the cool plot. He just didn't want to give away too much. It's true. It's a horror-con. It's happening the next day, and we enter the scene with everyone preparing for it, and they're kind of having a little before party, and then they're going to sell all this stuff. Right? That's what I got out of it. What was happening then?
They all wrote for a website. They were all film reviewers for a website. And the reason why I bring that up is it's really pivotal to the whole plot.
Wow. Okay.
They all wrote for a film website, and the guy who ran the website also owned this warehouse.
Okay.
And they were meeting up there, all the reviewers from around the country or from around the neighborhood or wherever, to go to, you're right, this HorrorCon the next day. But they weren't going to sell anything. I think they were getting in line to like meet people. And...
Oh, okay. See, I thought they're selling that food, all those food items, like nachos and popcorn and stuff.
I don't know if they were catering the HorrorCon.
That was just where they happened to own it. Okay.
Him and his sister owned that warehouse.
All right, let's start over. Okay, so the plot, that makes sense now. I knew that they... I thought they were selling those items in the warehouse.
People are getting killed, and on the bodies are left notes.
Right.
And the notes allude to comments made on the website.
Which is why they're all there.
Right.
That's what unifies them, and it's why they're being killed.
But they're having a pre-party.
They're having a pre-party, right. To meet
the next day, because they're going to go to the hotel, and they're going to go to bed, and the whole thing.
Sure.
Right.
But they can't leave the warehouse.
Because there's the doors become electrified.
Yeah, the bad guy,
so
the killer.
They're trapped in the warehouse, and one by one getting picked off.
And thus, we have the plot established.
Yes.
Right, and so there's a hooded killer. He's got a really cool, like, ninja look to him with red eye makeup.
Yeah.
And a kind of vicious-looking curved knife.
Yeah, solid knife.
And as the audience, so as the characters in the film are trying to figure out who is the one killer amongst them, so is the audience.
Right, exactly. It's a whodunit. There's a whodunit element. Yeah. And immediately couples are forming. So you get like the two guys who Phil was mentioning were driving to the con. They were, or considered themselves, like lead reviewers on the site. And that was, I believe, John Patrick Barry as Blake Witchhunter Proctor, and Dennis Hill as Sean Slamdance Hammond. And I think I'm right in saying, let me just see, that Dennis Hill's gone on to have a... Wow, he was in The Wire.
He was good. I was going to mention that.
He's in Lie to Me. He's in CSI, American Horror Story.
I was going to say to everyone after the film, by everyone I mean listeners though, I did want to mention that I thought his acting was one of the best.
Yeah, he's great.
I thought his was the most natural, and
the acting in this movie across the board was great.
I would agree with that.
So, familiar faces in the crowd. You get Joe Ripple, as we learn in Blood, Boobs, and Beasts.
For a movie. The movie is called Blubs, Blubs, and Blubs.
As we learn in Blubs, as we learn in the movie,
the three
Blubs, Boobs, and Blibs. Joe Ripple had to stand in for the last minute when a guy whose wife got pregnant walked off the movie. So we get Joe Ripple in there as a kind of put upon husband with a kind of much younger, buxom, spoiled wife.
Yeah, named Nick too, which is always nice.
We got Leanna Chamish showed up as a scream queen. She was like the token celebrity who had also dabbled in review. She was called Raymond.
I wanted to mention that we kept hearing everyone's name, or you in particular,
as Raymond.
Everyone. We had Raven, who we thought was Raymond.
Yeah.
We thought Aiden was Raymond.
Aiden was Raymond, I'm sure of it by this point. Everybody.
So it just seemed like after a while we just thought everyone was saying, "Come on, Raymond."
But everyone, and then not even that, but the African American woman, Ara Rip, at the beginning, who said, "My name's R.I.P. Rip," her name was Rachel, which sounds a bit like Raymond. So, like, everyone was Raymond, there was a Raymond theme in the movie. Raymond. Dead Hunt might as well have been called Raymond, Portrait of a Serial Killer. But you've got you've got Leanna Chamish, and then you've got Justin Timpane, who's gone on to do a series of ninja films, become well-known director in the Baltimore area. And who else did we have that was recognizable? Stover showed up for a very brief cameo.
Yep.
His briefest
we saw that in Blood, Boobs, and Beast. We saw the behind the scenes.
But I thought that entrance was going to herald so much more.
Yeah. No, you could tell that it was a cameo. It was a bit part. But he got his death scene.
Yeah.
And then he got something else at the end. He got a little I always like it when they show the respect.
Oh,
to the
we
big,
didn't mention at the end of
like,
Vampire Sisters. We missed mentioning the big finale of Vampire Sisters, where he's doing his teeth and she's dancing in the living room.
Yeah, they do a little music video to that soundtrack.
We did
oh yeah, right.
That whole thing.
Well, that's not like part of the movie itself.
But it was insane that it was on there.
Yeah,
It's probably the best,
no, you're right.
best thing that has ever happened.
To watch the end of a movie like Vampire Sisters, only to have then an extended music video to some Joe Ripple pen dance music.
I mean, it teaches you about the dental health. You know? It's important to floss. I mean, hygiene, you know?
Yeah.
Floss.
Yeah, flossing can be fun.
It can, sure.
So you get interspersed with the pigtail woman.
On that, we did have Dr. Phil commentary throughout the next movie.
Throughout Dead Hunt about the various illnesses and injuries. Yeah.
And what injury would really cause.
But at the end of... So let's just quickly... To the end of Vampire Sisters, there was the pigtail one dancing, Dohler, and there was interspersed with George getting ready, doing his teeth, checking his teeth with a mirror, like a dental mirror.
Sure.
Clipping
Shaving.
his eyebrows.
Clipping his eyebrows, clipping his nasal
the
hair.
flossing, though, was the key. The flossing.
Yeah, that was...
But he was also, like, pointing at himself in the mirror, like, you got this.
The thing is,
like,
I've seen
like,
Phil prep for dates like that. And I feel like they're kindred spirits. Like Phil knows.
Stover and I.
Yeah.
I think when Phil and Stover meet, that's going to be one of those things where they'll just go off into a
it'll be
corner.
like Churchill and Roosevelt.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be just one of those moments.
Yeah.
That we'll all be glad we lived through.
Yeah.
I think Phil is the rightful heir to the Stover throne.
I think so.
If only Phil had ever been in a film.
Trimming his beard.
Yeah, but Phil is living the lessons of
not
George Stover. Phil, he couldn't pull it off in a movie, but I think
I will groom my beard, but not...
Phil is the physical embodiment of Stover's roles in film.
Where the hell's my phone?
I like that idea.
What?
So back to Dead Hunt.
Yes.
So, Dead Hunt.
Yes.
People in warehouses getting picked off one by one by a ninja killer. It's a slasher whodunit.
Mm-hmm.
It also features one of the women who worked on Boobs, Blubs and Flibs. Sarah Cole, she was the lead, it turned out. Basically, her and Dennis Hill were an item. During the beginning of the movie, where they're all meeting up around the carrot sticks and the tzatziki sauce, there was an incredibly tall person who was fantastic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Noonan-esque, I'd say.
Who I thought originally was possibly the killer.
He might be, we don't know.
Well, we didn't know. I mean, that's part of what I like.
He might have been a killer.
He's certainly a suspect.
Yeah.
Right. This movie, I like this film a lot because you really didn't know what was going on at the beginning, and it moved very slowly. You know what I mean?
Can I ask you a question without being facetious? Is that like a lot of movies for you, Phil?
No,
you cannot ask that question.
I'm being totally honest with this movie. I mean, we're all trying to figure out who could it be.
I was all excited about the mystery.
It was very mysterious. It moved slowly. You didn't know what was going on.
And you really did want to figure out who did it and choose your person so that you could follow that person.
We should point out that Phil is wearing an elf.
That's the key to this whole thing that people don't know about.
Yeah. Phil, what are you doing? Oh, he's texting his lady. Okay.
He's texting his lady.
All right.
Ladies,
okay. All right.
Brooklyn lady.
All right.
Who's that?
Quiet down now.
Girl, I'm coming home
tonight.
We're gonna podcast together.
All right. Okay.
Anyway, no, I agree.
You're my vampire sister.
Do what you gotta do, man. It's cool.
Oh, fuck. Come on. Let's finish this up. Dead Hunt.
No, I agreed with him. Like, I felt like I wanted to know who the killer was. I was trying to suss it out. The person I first thought was the first to die. So then after that, I was...
Yeah, but even when you know who it is, wasn't the killer being nicer to certain people than others?
No, there was one person he let live because she hadn't...
Oh, we don't want to give that away, do we?
It doesn't matter. It's early on in the movie. She doesn't write on the website.
Right.
She doesn't write for the website. But I'm not saying who it is.
Okay, sure.
There wasn't another character, though?
No.
that he let go to.
So how about the deaths? Let's go through that. Let's not say who dies, but let's go through the deaths. So we've got a de-gutting is like the first death. We don't see it, but we see the after.
That was.
Yeah, he'd pulled out and arranged the intestines in a sort of cupboard area.
Yeah.
Sure. And split open. It was sort of Silence of the Lambsy. Split open the rib cage and the whole bit.
The person that was killed swallowed a brick of dynamite and exploded in their gut.
Mm-hmm.
That's
right.
true.
But the rib cage had maintained. Yeah.
Right.
But there was hilarity ensued from that scene because the guy ran in and was like looking at the corpse, and everyone kept asking, "Is he dead?"
Right. And there was
but his guts had been pulled out and like nailed around the wall, and his rib cage was split open, and there was blood everywhere.
Is he dead?
And it's like,
and he's like, "Are you sure he's still dead?" And it was like, "Yeah, he's definitely."
And then
dead.
I remember like hearing, "Oh yeah, he's dead. You don't think he's dead?"
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like
And then we got Death by Electrocution. That was great. That was
actually another one I liked.
Yeah,
because
Mitch Klein,
that.
special effects.
Like the person that happened to, I agreed with that character. I was like, yeah, just get out of there. Why would you want to figure out who's killing what? Just get out of there.
Yep.
And then the electrocution.
Yeah, which was, I have to say, if you've got one location for your movie and you've got to keep everyone there, the whole electrocuting doors thing...
It works, yeah.
It was good. I mean, I don't know how sound the science is with the whole little click button thing. You can turn it on and off, but...
no, that's how it works.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Good, I'm glad to
know. Vouch for that.
John had me electrify these doors.
Yeah.
Before,
Perfect. I'm not going anywhere.
So what else did we have? We had Leanna's death was phenomenal.
I also liked when the funny part for me was when they were in the office and they're like, let's email for help. And then they do this, please help me, please help me in this giant font. Yeah. And then there's someone else, and then the killer wrote back, nice try.
Throwback to a simpler time.
Yeah, the killer was always communicating via the instant messages or whatever.
Well, this came out, this was filmed probably around 2006.
Right.
But roughly when Baltimore got the internet.
Yeah.
But it led me to wonder, like, if you were to email for help, could you email the police? Is there a 911 email?
Oh, that's a good question. Is there a 911 email? Let's go over to Dr. Consol.
I'm going to have to let Phil field this one. Phil?
Dr. Phil.
Is there a 911 email?
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to consult each individual precinct.
Could you text 911?
Could you shake your jingle helmet first before you answer this question? Very good.
No, I cannot.
Could you text 911?
Yes.
You could do that.
You can?
Sure,
You can text and say, help,
text
I'm in
911,
trouble.
help me. I'm here.
I'm in a warehouse. There were peanut brittle or whatever it was.
There's nachos.
Popcorn, what is it? It's like popcorn boats or something.
And there was cornstarch and... Was this the same warehouse as in Steaks? Was this the peanut warehouse or not? I felt like the old warehouse bit could have been the warehouse from Steaks. Just the old bit at the back.
Maybe.
But
I think this was a different... Because they didn't really know the lay of it in Blood, Boobs, and Beast.
Right.
They kept having to deal with people using the emergency exits and whatnot.
Well, I don't know why the alarms weren't just turned off if they were there. That's what I didn't understand.
Because it was an active workspace. The next morning, people had to come in and work there.
Right, but why they couldn't turn the alarm off and on...
It's Baltimore.
It was very odd, because, you see in Blood, Boobs and Beasts, they're almost about to get thrown out of the location.
Yeah, it happens a couple times, yeah.
Which would have ruined this movie, because it's all in this one place. It really is, the whole movie. And you're lucky that they have, like, the old warehouse and new warehouse and the office, and they've got places to play with.
Sure.
But the other thing is, if you were on the internet to send an email... Wouldn't it just be easier to be on the internet to reach a police station?
Well, that was the thing. They could IM with each other, but they couldn't send out emails.
It was internal, so the intranet was working, but the internet wasn't.
Oh, and I remember when that was different. I don't think they have that anymore, do they?
Yeah, some businesses still do.
Sure they do.
Like Best Buy have an internal... So Best Buy can email other stores without it being...
but not the worldwide one.
Yeah.
That I would like to see, a slasher at Best Buy.
They slash the prices and the customer.
Nice.
Well, they've done that in Supermarket in Night Crew, which became Intruder. they have a whole load
That's
of
a good one,
puns.
yeah.
Is this summer he's slashing prices or something like that.
Cool.
He just goes, I'm just crazy about this store, which is a good one. But no, this is a really strong film. I was going to say about the deaths. Leanna Chamish's death with the fire effect.
Good, yeah.
Ooh, really
That was
nice.
really well done.
Yeah.
I mean, for a low budget effect, that was splendid. You could see her like twisted face of horror, like underneath the. It was really well done. I loved
Like a
it.
hologram, but
I'll say this.
I didn't like
also.
that Leanna died. I'm just saying I liked that.
See, but this is what I'm saying. I like when the people that I like get good death scenes.
I agree.
Yeah, that's
I'm with
I think
you there.
that's the best.
I like
Better
that
than
the
them living in the end is that they get their death scene.
And even though Stover in the movie was just a security guard, wasn't even part
He still
of.
gets a big.
He got a
send-off.
big, like with the candles and the thing.
And okay, I'll say this.
Why did he kill Stover? Because Stover didn't write for the magazine or the website, rather.
Well, but
Just
he was
gonna
a
let them
threat to
out.
the whole scenario.
Because he was
Well,
on
so was the
outside,
other person, but he let them go.
not
Well, listen.
all the way through.
Here's what I'm going to say though. Joe Ripple. I don't want to say what happens to him, but he has a scene in this movie.
He is incredible
That
in this
is
film, and I'm not even kidding.
fantastic. It's very powerful. It's like a tour de force.
It's Brando-esque, as I said when I was watching.
But not. I mean, like kind of sarcastically, but not really sarcastic.
No. I mean,
really good.
What I meant was,
I thought
is
so too. Actually, I thought he was really good.
Joe's scene that we're talking about is honestly one of the best bits of this film.
It's one of the best moments of acting in any Dohler movie, I would say.
Yes, it was really good. It was really good. Like I loved it.
And I don't want to say what happens, but
no, it was great.
But check it out, and you
Powerful
will know.
moment.
It was a real powerful moment, and I liked once the killer was revealed. I liked the character he had chosen to be.
Yeah, the acting in this one was fantastic.
It was across the board. I thought it was really
across
good.
the board.
Yeah,
the whole board.
Of course, you had the whole situation where they all went into the office, and had they just stayed in the office.
Yeah, but that happens.
It could have been fine, but but then
You can't just be like, just stood there.
No, but the only thing I didn't understand is why did Raven run away? That's what I didn't.
She just got freaked out by
him quoting.
By quoting, and then he got to say "Quoth the Raven nevermore," which was really very cool. I
which
like
is a
that
Baltimore thing. There you go.
Yep, it is. Bit of Poe right there, sliding him into the Dohler mythology.
It'd be cooler if they said "quoth the Raymond."
Yeah, if he said "Quoth Raymond," as in like Raymond who runs the local pizza parlor or something.
What was it? Joe Ripple's character's wife.
Slash and Burt.
Oh yeah, what did you
Keller.
think of her?
She's not on
Who
here.
is her? She's
Oh
not
no,
on
she
there?
is Anne-Marie Barber.
Anne-Marie, yeah, Sari or Sorry.
That was
Remember,
a good
like,
running gag, right?
Yeah, it was, and her against
because of the
Raven,
accent again, because of the Baltimore accent.
Leanna's
If you say
thing.
sorry,
Did you like that?
it sounds like sorry.
I liked the interplay between Sari and Raven.
Raven.
How, like, how Sari would she
Sorry
was
and
kind of
Raven?
like making fun of the other character, kind of. You know what I mean? Not making fun of, but mocking a little bit.
No, it's so true.
I'm just saying, like it's cool to have that. Like they were both very strong performances. And,
Yes.
like Leanna Chamish a lot more from other movies, so you're gonna root for her. But then you have this other character in there who is like, what are you laughing at?
Which is not.
It's not what you're saying. What you're saying is fantastic. What you're saying is fantastic around the money, but every so often you'll move your hand and it'll make a little ring, and it's hilarious.
Well, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, come on.
So we can actually.
You've taken his power away now.
Yeah.
No, now his power is complete.
Oh yeah, now.
See?
No, Nick has the power.
Yeah.
But no, Phil, what you're saying is great. The performances were really good.
Right. Just I like that interplay between those two. Like that brought a lot to this film.
I was going to say, I'm glad you mentioned her in particular because I also thought, as snooty as she was in the beginning of the film, was like you then come to like her, and the way her exchange with her husband later on in the film.
It makes perfect sense.
And you're like she was a tough chick. So.
I liked how they all paired off as well.
Yeah,
it felt quite natural rather than it felt, especially with John Patrick Barry and the who was the lady in it? His girlfriend. I don't think she's on the list. Aidan, yeah, Colleen Taylor. And the way that they initially got together, like you understood they'd obviously been chatting on the website, or they were respectful of each other's reviews, and then were looking forward to meeting each other. Maybe there was like a romance. She said, I should have come down this summer or something.
Oh, yeah, right.
But when they met, they had like genuine chemistry. Like it felt...
Although we were laughing a little bit of how the looks he's giving her at first. Kind of sarcastic and like, what are you talking about?
But I think the looks now, like with hindsight, I think they were meant to be like, so that's who I've been talking to this whole time. Nice. You know, I think it was meant to be like... You know, raised eyebrow, nodding, suave.
No, it was just funny because it was just. He just kept giving her looks, you know.
Classic Phil Rowan look.
Yeah. No, that just looks like you're trying to squeeze out some unwanted gas.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, I love that. I love the. I thought that the one setting thing was going to become a problem. Didn't think that at all. I thought it was really good. And now, actually thinking back to it, Vampire Sisters, apart from the odd shot outside, apart from the
one spot,
the action all takes place in
the trees,
and
the sheriff's office,
and the sheriff's office,
the lawyer's office, yeah,
and the road scene.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Lots of nice road scenes.
The road scene in Vampire Sisters reminded me of some of the nature scenes in Alien Factor. With the long focus.
They more reminded me of the car chase scene from Alien Factor 2.
Oh, yeah,
right.
that was great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But I mean the long focus, you had the branches in front of the camera, you had the pickup truck.
The crazy Kenneth Walker music.
It just showed that Don, far from losing his touch, is actually improving and employing previous techniques to great effect.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And Dead Hunt is on performance, camera, lighting, scripting is, an incredible professional and polished endeavor.
Yep,
the special effects were really good. Yeah.
And it is available online. It is a 2-disc special edition.
What is on the second disc?
So much. On the first disc, you have Dead Hunt feature presentation, scene selection, audio commentary with Don Dohler and Joe Ripple. Then disc 2 includes behind-the-scenes featurette, deleted scenes and alternate ending, the Dead Hunt trailer, the blooper reel, and a photo stills gallery.
The Vampire Sister, it's maybe like the odder of these two films, right?
Right.
Yes.
It's like slightly odder.
But Dead Hunt is something that you would go into a movie theater and watch.
Right.
Like, it's got video quality to it, okay? But apart from that, the way it's shot, the way it's lit, everything, and the plot of it could quite happily be your run-of-the-mill, not run-of-the-mill, but, could be a good slasher film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. But while the Vampire Sisters was a little more odd or whatever, it was still like a very strong... In retrospect, now that I think about it, don't think about the bells. Listen to the words.
That's all I can think of.
I'm just saying, it's a strong film.
That's all. Vampire Sisters, I was not expecting much out of going into, just from what I knew about the plot.
Right.
Oh, I see.
But it surpassed my expectations. I was not bored with it. I was pleased. I was surprised.
So, okay. Do we go Time Warp films only, or do we go from the second part of his career?
Go Time Warp films only.
So we're not including Alien Factor 2 then, which is technically, although it's in the second part of his career, it's not a Time Warp film.
Oh, well, no, just the second part of his career.
So out of the second part of his career, are we going to rank them?
We could do that, yeah.
Number one for me is still Stakes.
Well, let's go. So you got Alien Factor 2, Stakes.
Well, no, Alien Factor 2, Harvesters, Stakes, Vampire Sisters, and Dead Hunt.
Okay.
Is Harvesters the family out in the...
Harvesters was like the Blood Massacre retread with Joe Ripple leading a task
family
force.
out in the boonies and the thieves?
Yes.
Oh, I think that's my favorite.
Harvesters.
No, not the Blood Massacre, love. Not the one that we've seen a few times. Harvesters was the remake of that. With the woman criminal. And Leanna Chamish plays George Stover's wife. And George Stover is the evil husband.
I don't think I've seen that then.
Did you not watch that with us?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think she did.
You didn't watch Stakes either? Ah, okay. So no, you haven't seen Harvesters. Okay.
Did I see Harvesters with you guys? I saw Stakes.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah,
Did
you
I
saw
see-
Harvesters with us, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You might not have been here for the podcast, though. You might have left.
Oh, okay.
It was the remake of Blood Massacre.
Okay.
So then I've only seen, what were the other ones?
You've seen Alien Factor 2.
Yeah. Okay, then Alien Factor 2.
Was your favourite out of the 3 you've seen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would say Stakes was my favorite. I really liked Harvesters, though. I really did.
Yeah?
And I liked Dead Hunt. And Alien Factor 2. Also, I liked Vampire Sisters, so it's going to be tough to rank them.
No, I don't need to rank. I'm just saying that my favourite is still Stakes, but I think Dead Hunt is up there, definitely, just for its quality. It's a real, high quality, rocks along, great deaths, great script. A little exploitative on the nudity, but not gratuitous. And, to be expected. And just a well-rounded, well-polished product all round. But in terms of entertainment, in terms of like sheer Dohler-esque entertainment, Stakes wins out for me.
Yeah,
because it's more... it's got more of that Dohler vibe.
Twists, yeah.
And I liked Alien Factor 2, but it's Alien Factor 2 and...
you know what we didn't talk about with Dead Hunt, though, was the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about the soundtrack,
which was really, really good.
Done by Tim Payne, who was in the movie, Justin Tim Payne. Or Timpani.
Timpani.
Yeah,
Sure.
Timpanese.
Yeah, he's a paisan. There were a lot of the piano stuff in that was really good.
Yeah.
There was one scene.
There's some subtle stuff, wasn't there? Where it was right out in the background, but it was
the thing is that there was the main theme, which was this like string thing, like it was like Silence of the Lambs or something, and then there was this secondary piano theme, which showed up right after they saw one of the main characters' body, and it was like a dramatic scene. And it was really effective piano. Creepy music.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I thought both
stuff. There was.
I thought both scores for these two were very strong.
Yeah, I thought they were perfect for the movie that they were
accompanying,
scoring.
Right.
And
as a good score should.
This one had a lot of like lower registered, upper register stuff. A lot of variation.
Right,
which was good. Phil,
and that's which one had the brass? The lower brass.
was
that?
Oh,
Vampire Sisters?
That was Vampire Sisters.
Yeah,
there was
okay.
one scene with a French horn, a mini French horn.
And there's a trombone scene too.
Yeah.
I think I remember
Great.
the reverb on the last one. Mm-hmm. I just remember that being eerie.
Yeah, that was like.
And then there was a goblin type song, I thought.
There was a very...
that I really liked.
See, that's the other thing. In the movie, they're mentioning all these different types of horror films because they all write for a horror website. And one of the things they keep mentioning is Eurotrash or Italian-style horror. There's a whole bit at the end where she says, why does he take so seriously, and blah, 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 blah. Now, that might have been... Like, he might have been consciously trying to do a goblin-esque
because it felt like
score.
that type of,
Yeah.
It was very trancy.
Yep.
I think maybe he did it throughout the score, because you at one point said it was like a Bernard Herrmann type thing.
Yeah, the string stuff.
Right. So maybe like throughout the score he was
Well, yeah,
using...
because there was like because a lot of the time you didn't notice it was so good. It was so... and then other times...
Yeah, it just fit right in. Because a lot of times with like low-budget movies, you're like, listen to this.
This is really standing out, yeah.
And sometimes that's fine. It's like, listen to this hilarious soundtrack.
Right.
But this was like, it was spot on.
It just highlighting everything it should. Yeah.
This this is one... Although for me, because I love, like... the original cast of people. I can never really shake that when I'm watching a Dohler movie. I can never really shake wanting to see, Leifert and Dysel and whatever. Mm-hmm. But saying that, if there are two Dohler movies above all else that I'm going to put on in a room full of people who have never seen a Dohler film, it's going to be Blood Massacre and this. Because Blood Massacre and Dead Hunt are the two movies that could stand apart from just being Dohler films. Do you know what I mean by that?
Well, they fit inside of a genre that already exists. They could appeal to someone who has a certain idea of...
Right. And homemade alien invasion movies exist, and Dohler fits inside that, but it's not as recognized or as welcomed by, let's say, the outsider or the layman or whatever.
Yeah.
Right, you're right.
The powers that be.
No, but if you had like a bunch
you
of...
have to have kind of a higher production quality, don't you? Usually.
For your regular person to sit down and watch and appreciate
it. Seems that way.
But like if we had your friends over...
You could, like, at almost any production level for a scary movie.
Yeah, I would say if you're just having random people over, Blood Massacre is the one to
and Dead
go
Hunt,
with.
though. I feel like you could show them Dead Hunt. And it's what I mean is it doesn't... Blood Massacre you can show to anyone because they're going to be excited by all the twists and weirdness and what the hell and all the rest of it. And they're just going to be like... wow, this is a film, like it's going to be great for anyone.
Right.
And I feel like Dead Hunt works because it works in its traditional nature. It has a...
murder mystery.
Right, it has, but if you look at any of those slashers from the 80s, you know what I mean, they've all got... look at something like My Bloody Valentine. You know, he's like leaving poems and like hearts in boxes and things. Like there's the killers leaving things throughout and there's a reason why and so on and so forth. You know, and there are various serial killer movies that have kind of that theme. And Dead Hunt has that with a modern twist on it because it's about writing for a blog. It's about stuff that's happening right now. Mm-hmm. And although, you know, sadly some of the computer effects look dated, it could be a modern slasher. Like it's a modern themed slasher that works really, really well. Mm-hmm. Because you could make it today. And funny enough, I've always said that any movie that has anything to do with the internet or cell phones as its main plot thrust is normally terrible. And this is the one exception to that rule that I've ever seen.
Well, it didn't have much. I mean, it just had email. It wasn't exactly internet.
No, meaning that they all write for a website.
Oh, I see.
Now, you could argue that equally back in the day the story could be the same if they all wrote for a magazine, but, you know, it still has the internet website as a driving...
Right.
Yeah, well, so does Vampire Sisters.
Oh, yeah, the whole thing.
On the screen, it looks super exaggerated when you see it on the screen, on the computer screen in the movie.
Yeah.
But, like, and it looks silly at first, but it doesn't matter. Like,
no.
I mean, that you could easily translate that into Google Chat or you know, like whatever.
You could relate it to Phil, and I hate to blow your mind. You could relate it to what we're doing right now in this movie. They are all assholes about it. It's like those old slasher movies where they bully the kid, and the kid grows up to resent the fact that they were all bullied.
Right, and he comes back, and he's the killer on the train. Party people. That was the actual movie.
You mean you're talking about Terror? Is it Terror Train with Jamie Lee Curtis
really
and?
Have you guys seen that one? It's actually really good.
It's also the same as Slaughter High. They bully him in the shower. And
I've seen that one too.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, it was a nice update on the slasher genre, very traditionally done, but with a nice modern twist. And like you say, a little close to home, because as Don says in Bloobs and Fizz, you know, he's seen the bad reviews for his movies online. You know, he's seen people rip into them. I mean, it still bothers me when I go on IMDb and I see reviews for these movies and people are like, 2 stars, I don't like them, and blah, blah. And I'm like, then why, like, just don't review them then. Like, why are you bothering to go out of your way to say something bad about something that was made for 50p in a warehouse in Baltimore? Like, why 50p. Not? What?
You know, because we have a lot of
pence.
We have a lot of pence around here.
That's right. I'm saying, why do a negative review for something that's a low-budget movie made in a warehouse in Baltimore?
Why get a Canadian quarter?
Why even bother?
Loony.
It's one thing to negative...
$2 Canadian.
Yes.
Could have been easy.
Having a tough time with this one.
I was trying to get impassioned and
no, I know. When we were stopping you.
Yeah. No, I was just saying that. Well, whatever. You take it.
Sorry, you threw us with the 50p.
When I'm on a roll, I don't think to convert the currency. That's my problem.
Rubles.
Rubles. That's 50 rubles, man.
Oh man, I was with you, John.
I understand.
Shocker, right?
Right. I understand if Michael Bay makes a movie for millions of dollars and puts it out there, spending millions of dollars on the marketing of something like Transformers, which as kids everyone was passionate about at a certain point. I understand that gives them the right to turn around and say, you took my fucking childhood and you fucking ruined it and blah, 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 blah. If that's what they want to say. Like, if that's how they want to review the movie. But Don didn't take anyone's childhood and ruin it.
Yeah, if you get 10 minutes into Alien Factor and you're like, this is...
Right, just turn it off and go away.
You don't have to review it.
You don't have to go online and be like, I'm going to give this 2 stars and write shit about it. Right. And so in the movie, the fact that they get a free screener of a movie that's taken this guy, years to make, the fact that they do all review it negatively is a comment on that. Like, why bother? Just be like, look, best of luck to you, or,
So it's Don and Joe just taking out their aggression.
No, I think it's a clever commentary on kind of what we do, and what bloggers do, but I think, considering it's in 2007, which is sort of just slightly before the boom of that kind of stuff, it's very, precedent and I think very clever.
Prescient.
Very relevant.
You know what I mean? No, I was trying to make a serious point.
Well,
Well, didn't I comment during the movie though? During Dead Hunt, I said autobiographical much.
Right. That's why I just mentioned that. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I agree, dude.
Perhaps that's what I was alluding to.
But what they've done is they've turned it into great creativity. Like all art,
channel it,
could be born out of frustration.
Right. Yeah. Which is anytime you hear Phil play music, that's what. That's
when you hear his bass playing, it's got such a knife edge to it because there's the dark,
just a biting, sarcastic,
really so uptight,
double bass.
The seething anger that's welled up inside.
If Wilbur Ware lived a life of anger,
and he did. I was there.
You were there.
Mm-hmm. Ultimately, though, if we're going to put these 2 out of 5 to my left, what do you say? Vampire Sisters first, go ahead.
4 out of 5.
And Dead Hunt?
4.5 out of 5.
Okay, to his left.
The Vampire Sisters 4, and Dead Hunt 4 3/4.
Oh, you bastard!
Out of 5.
Now they're going to think that you like it more than I do.
Well, you went first.
I set the precedent.
That's the trouble with going
now
first.
Now I can say 5 and 5, and I'm the winner of it all.
Right.
Raymond, what are you going to say for Vampire Sisters?
Vampire Sisters 3, the Dead Hunt, and drumroll. 5.
Okay. So, Vampire Sisters, I'm going to give a 3.75 to.
Ooh, not as strong as my 4.
But stronger than Raymond's 3.
That's true.
And
I think it appealed more to men. Vampire Sisters.
But I'm not giving it more because of those.
I'm bumping up the 4 because of Joe Ripple's strip scene, not because of Cinda Ville's.
I have to say, I find any of the nudity in Dohler's movies, awkward to watch because it's not.
Except in Night Beast.
Arousing.
That is
Night Beast is
the
amazing.
ultimate in arousal.
The sheriff and
while enjoyable, Vampire Sisters was a little bit out. It was a little bit out there.
I give Vampire Sisters 3.75, but I did like it. I like a lot of the elements of it. And I'm going to give Dead Hunt a 4.5.
All right.
Same as me.
That's what I'm going to say right now. Because I watched Dead Hunt and loved it and appreciated it. But, something like Alien Factor and Blood Massacre and Fiend, Galaxy Invader and Stakes, and those to me have the essence. Those to me have the passion and the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And Dead Hunt has ambition. That's what Dead Hunt. Like Dead Hunt has strong ambition and professionalism and polish. And I appreciate that on a totally different plane that I appreciate the other one.
Sure. Oh, no, I was just going to say, it was a solid film. Maybe your grading system needs to be upped.
Why would it need to be
because
upped?
Fiend and those films, those are fucking.
Those are classics.
Those
yeah, you're right. It's hard to rate it.
Amazing film.
You can't.
You know
yeah,
what I
you
mean?
can't.
Yeah, but you're not. You're rating it against its own thing. You can't rate Dead Hunt against Alien Factor.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah.
Because if you rate Dead Hunt against Alien Factor, as
if you
it's okay.
If you rent the two.
If you rate Blade Runner against Alien Factor, it's not going to compare very well.
No.
If you rate.
But you see, that's not true. I would rather watch Alien Factor than Blade Runner.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you rate The Godfather against Alien Factor, it's fine. I'll watch it.
So you're talking about The Godfather now, or Alien?
Yeah, I'm talking about The Godfather.
Oh, I see. Right. But Alien Factor is better than The Godfather.
That's all I want to watch all the time.
It's Alien Factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's true. There's movies that are entertaining, fun to watch, and then there's of course the more professional, more money behind movies that are classic as well. But it's hard to compare the two because you're not always in the mood for those.
Yeah, if I want to.
And also, when you're hanging out with friends, it's more fun to watch one that's more entertaining.
Yeah, it's more fun to watch Alien Factor than to hang out with friends. That's what I have been saying from the beginning.
That was your point when you
this whole thing, we're here because of you.
Yeah,
that's right.
So you're welcome.
You brought Dohler to all of our
That's
lives.
Right. So
there.
So check that out, everybody.
Yeah.
Who's the man?
You're the man.
Right. And you rate the movies on their own merit, and Dead Hunt has a ton of merit.
And those
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's a guy improving himself over and over and over again. In fact, I remember saying when we watched Alien Factor 2, just from the camera movements alone, Don is moving forward.
And that's what you love to see anyway.
Oh, you want to see him improve. Yeah.
I'm not necessarily thinking about what is this related to that or whatever. It's just it's great to see that filmmaker doing what he's doing with this.
Right. And I think
it's just as strong in a way. You know what I mean?
And considering some of the difficulties they had, just logistic difficulties they had making Dead Hunt, because it was made over a course of weekends, and you never noticed the difference. There wasn't a lighting issue, or
the lighting was all the same. The
continuity.
That's even more
wardrobes.
That's ridiculous. You know
that's
what I mean?
incredible.
Yeah.
They made it, and they had people drop out, and Joe had to go back to work, and they had a ton of stuff.
Right.
It's like a
no
logistical
one's
nightmare
hair
that
too
you're
long,
working with.
you know what I'm saying. That
do,
happens where
Yeah.
their styles change a little bit.
But it was very good. The continuity was great.
Oh, continuity was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen worse continuity in bigger productions.
Oh, good, yeah.
Where it seems
I've seen worse continuity in this podcast.
Me too.
Just from sentence to sentence out of Phil's mouth. It's like, where were you the last time you spoke?
Right. That's why I'm here.
What happened to your hair?
Where did you go?
Have we said all we want to say on Dead Hunt?
I believe so.
Have we said all we want to say on Vampire Sisters? Oh, wait a minute. We do have Leanna Chamish's comment about Dead Hunt.
There you go.
Regarding Dead Hunt, I shot the behind the scenes and
Come on,
edited.
do the voice.
I am doing the voice.
Do the Leanna Chambers voice.
Yeah.
Do the voice.
That's not her voice, man. Come on. Do it.
Regarding Dead Hunt, I shot.
Come on, John. Don't be shy.
I shot the behind the
Thank
scenes
you.
and edited the behind the scenes documentary on the DVD. Previously, I had handed my footage over to Joe for editing the behind the scenes, but for Dead Hunt, I did it myself. I did it in a narrator-less documentary style, and I like the results. It took a lot of work. I hope you enjoy it and at least find it useful. So is that on the second disc?
Yeah.
Okay, that's part of the second disc.
So, as this is the final Don Dohler podcast from us, the New York Dohlerites, do you have any last words, Mayor Burt Wicker?
No, it's been quite a ride. Glad I was a part of it, and it's led to other things, other interests. It was like an entryway into a world of good things.
That's true. It was actually like the entry drug almost.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And Phil?
You know, I'm not sure how to follow Mayor Burt Wicker's comments right now.
You can't.
Just now. They're unfollowable. Really.
But you have no feeling based on when we started this Dohler journey and where we are today?
Oh, no. I mean, I feel, great and lucky about... I mean, I remember, Night Beast was the first one that I watched.
That was awesome.
And that was amazing.
Yeah,
and I
just
was
remember how much John didn't like it.
Yeah.
I was immediately hooked.
Oh, he really tore that apart.
Okay, well, we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about how much I enjoyed it and was into it. But no, I mean, it's great. And the other thing, no, I mean, I'm glad I got exposed to Don Dohler's filmmaking. That's all I'm gonna say. Because it's really strong, very unique, and
Definitely.
creative and entertaining. I mean, just everything that you can think of is in there. So I'm very glad to have been exposed to it. Yeah, and I wanna, if there's even more nuggets that are in there that we don't know of, which Robert Long, I think, alluded to somehow, but, yeah.
He said some weren't released or something?
I treasure everything Don Dohler.
There is,
there
is supplementary material. I have stuff that George sent me, and I have stuff that Rob sent me, but there are no more full features.
But
except Crawler.
When you appreciate someone to that degree, that's cool too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's
Well, Nick went out and bought every single Gore Duvall DVD.
Have you seen his website?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Lots of good stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing, is the community of it.
Yeah.
Because you start watching these movies and you really like them, and then you get to know the people,
which is insane.
A little bit. I mean, you have, yeah. And it's like a great community that's built up around it.
Right.
No, I feel
it's like you become
very honored,
part of something.
Yeah.
It's great.
I really do. And Raymondo, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I feel that as well. And you also get to know their backyards and houses.
The square footage of their homes.
You watch these movies more like an HGTV program. You're just like... Yeah.
That's not like that she did.
Yeah, and remodel this and whatever. Although I was obsessed with the paint of Joe's house.
Oh,
I really like the cross hatching.
Well, he's got a kind of two-tone, almost looked like the sky, like it was daytime all day in Dohler Land or something.
It's daytime all day in Dohler Land.
It just it looked like the sky of the Venetian casino in Las Vegas.
Oh, you're right. Where people have been fooled into thinking that was the sky.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Present company included.
But no, Ray, what did you have to say about this journey?
One time I took them there, and I was like, "We're not outside." And she, oh my God, really went hysterical because she thought we were outside.
Being, having seen this from start to finish as well, what was your feeling on the whole thing?
Well, it was really nice growing up with the characters. In particular, I like George Stover straight away in Night Beast. He really stood out for me in the beginning, and it's nice to know that he was in all of them. I felt like that was really fun to see how they matured or evolved through the is it decades?
Sure,
from the 70s, right? 70s right through to 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Right.
This movie came out.
So for me that was fun.
There's such strong characters in all these movies.
Yeah, and each one it's like you watch it and it's like, there he is.
Yeah.
Even bit parts.
Yeah, that's
when Stephen King showed up in Vampires. Hey, there's that guy.
Right.
Yeah. Leafer in Blood Massacre.
Oh yeah.
Or Fiend or whatever. That's.
Fiend is amazing.
It's amazing.
No, it's true. You start cheering.
Oh, Griffith has a cameo in Fiend.
He sure does.
Right.
Griffith.
Yeah. And Ruxton. Man, I mean, there's so many really strong characters, man, that,
No, they were
to assemble that many strong...
No, I mean, it's funny for me. I want to take this opportunity to completely... I will never live down the fact that when I first saw Night Beast, because of the evening we watched it on, and because of the series of films we were covering that night, it didn't resonate with me the way that it would do later on. And I want to say that I now love the film. It's now, in my top 4 Dohler films. And I do love it, and I do appreciate it. I still like Alien Factor more. I'm still more of a traditionalist when it comes to because Night Beast is sort of a remake of Alien Factor, and I like, but I do now love Night Beast, so I do have to apologize for not liking it when we first saw it.
Stupid.
But it's been a
just loved McBain so much.
I did. I love McBain.
We watched McBain, and then we also
fired the gun.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it was.
And Icebreaker. We watched like
4 movies,
like
and
a
Laura
million
was
hours.
there.
Yeah, and she hasn't been back since.
No, I know.
I don't
Because
understand.
I think we must have been up 12 hours because we watched 4 films and then we had to review
It
them
was
all.
a very, very long
was like-
day. Yeah.
I don't know how long that was.
I had
That's why
no
she's
end of fun.
You're right. She's never been
neither.
back.
That was like that was at least 8 hours of watching movies,
And then
like a 5 hour
hour.
podcast.
That's what I said.
It was a 3.5 hour podcast, actually.
Oh, pardon me. I mean,
Oh, wow.
Right.
that was
A marathon.
That was actually
nonetheless.
edited down, and we were taking pauses. And
Oh, yeah, I know.
I don't know how we did that. 4 films. Boy, those were our younger years, our younger days.
really.
That was 2 years ago. We're not, like, over the hill yet.
It feels it after that journey.
But, no, in all seriousness, it's been it's been fantastic to be sort of taken into the community and be part of the community and, like, to learn about the community and to find other filmmakers, that we love and that we want to support and, and to have people like Robert and George send me, ridiculous amounts of supplemental material, not to mention all the free screeners and stuff that Robert sent my way is just fantastic, very generous of them. And, and it's been like a great kind of continuum for us guys. Like, it's a good excuse to get together and hang out and, watch these movies and have familiarity with them and, like, build our little group that way as well. So it's kind of, it hasn't stopped giving. It hasn't stopped being a positive effect in our lives.
Yeah, and you got to say thank you to John Kinhart too, because without that documentary, I never would have watched any of this stuff.
Right,
and it added a different resonance to the movies when we finally saw them.
Right,
That's
to know
true,
the backstory
yeah.
ahead of time.
And we
Did
still
you,
have.
I hadn't seen it, but you told me about the documentary, and that I think got all of us excited to see.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there are 2 Holy Grails left. We want to see the whatever they have of Crawler, which is the sadly unreleased movie. It is being worked on. Robert and Mitch are working on it as we speak, but there's a lot of effects because they didn't have a physical creature, so they're having to do a lot of effects, which is going to take a long, long time. But so there's Crawler, and then the other thing, because we can't have a Dohler podcast without mentioning it, and that's the Atlantis vinyl 45. That's the Holy Grail. You find that, and boy, that's it, isn't it? That's
Your
the
whole life
peak
turns
of
out.
Everest
Yeah.
in terms of Dohler.
That's what we're all
You
looking
mean it's
for.
rare?
Oh yeah, exceptionally rare. There's a
And it's,
clip.
like a radio?
I feel like George is teasing me with it because he sent me all those discs of like extras for the movies, and one of them was a screening of either Night Beast or Alien Factor. I forget which one. I think it must have been Alien Factor at some hotel recently before Don Leafett died. So, but later on, like the 90s or the early 2000s, and George hands out 6 or 7 copies of the 45.
They exist.
It was there. George had some. And that to me, like, if I ever find that online or at a jumble sale or market or thrift store, that's
the last piece to the puzzle.
Can you imagine that? Just holding in your hand the Atlantis 45.
Yeah, just on beautiful heavy vinyl. You put it on, spin it.
Oh, yeah.
Starts crackling. Yeah.
Baby, someday I'll be home to you. song, man. It's like this sort of rocking.
Dum, 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 dum.
Yeah.
I'll get up.
Oh, I feel like we've heard it.
Yeah.
But no, I have to say it's fantastic.
Actually, we don't even need it.
No, I don't think so. I think Phil and I can get what's going on here.
Oh, Phil knows. It's happening in his head at all times.
There's a website that reviewed Alien Factor based solely on the fact that there is a 3-minute uninterrupted performance by that band. Didn't name the band in it, and I left a comment on the website saying that band was called Atlantis, the bass player was Don's brother, and a 45 exists somewhere in the world. I'm just scattering crumbs so that maybe one day...
Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm also educating, because people need to know about Atlantis.
You are. You're a great educator.
Imagine an Atlantis reunion gig. Can you imagine? I just...
Square Garden. They'll be there.
No, I'm serious. Even if they played like a Baltimore bar or something, can you imagine it? And they showed up with the hair and the Austin Powers get up. Wow. Great.
Be awesome.
But no, Don Dohler and Joe Ripple, with all seriousness, Joe Ripple, we salute you both. Fantastic films. And thanks for all your support and stuff, Robert, George, and Leanna, who have been instrumental in helping out. And John Kinhart, who has, every time we've done anything Dohler related, has retweeted it, shared it on Facebook. There is a Don Dohler fan group on Facebook, which you can go to, and they constantly update some stuff on there. So, yeah, good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Well, thanks ever so much.
Thank you.
This has been a long road, and we're finally here at the end.
We finally made it.
I don't want to end it, but we have to.
No, I think we can just keep going.
I think we can. It's your podcast. People expect it. More jingles.
Well, anyway, everyone say goodbye.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, Don. Thanks for everything.
Nice.
Goodbye, Don. Goodbye, Joey Rips and everybody else. Thank you for everything. You guys rock.
Yep, thanks for everything. That was awesome. Good work.
Dohlerites out.
I adore Baltimore movie makers. By the score, Alien Factor. Stream. Till the night beast, he hits scene. Yeah, Dohler, Stover, Griffith, and Frith. Dudley Burt's mighty Tash, Hoodwinkers after cash. Galaxy Beta. The Massacre, Alien Rampage, and Monsters, then come Snakes, Vampire Sisters too, finally they're on, and then you're through. Oh yeah! Dohler, Stover, Ripple, Rustin, Leanna, Chamish, and Rowan. Atlantis wrote this song. Come on, yeah. Oh, play it, Johnny. Oh, Leroy. Legacy lives on in this podcast and this song. This song. Atlantis. Come on. And don't call me Bernie.
Like the show? Well, you can find our complete podcast archive over at amdpodcast.blogspot.com or aftermoviediner.com. You can send us an email at aftermoviediner@gmail.com, tweet us at aftermoviediner, or follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/aftermoviediner. Or why not be a part of the show and leave us a voicemail over at speakpipe.com/aftermoviediner. You can also support the show a number of ways: by spreading the word to family, friends and co-workers, by writing us a review over at iTunes or TalkShoe, by purchasing some excellent diner merchandise over at cafepress.com/aftermoviediner, by donating on our website, by advertising with our website, or maybe you're a regular Amazon user. If so, then before you make a purchase, go to amdpodcast.blogspot.com, aftermoviediner.blogspot.com, or aftermoviediner.com and click through the Amazon banner ads. It costs you nothing extra, but they throw us a few coins for the trouble. Or, like the movies we cover, then buy them over at our personal Amazon store, also on amdpodcast.blogspot.com. Really, thanks everybody for everything you continue to do, and please keep listening.
There are men, and then there are second unit podcast men. The podcast you've just been listening to is part of the Second Unit Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at 2upn.blogspot.com or on Facebook under the Second Unit Podcast Network. Our fantastic list of shows include Drunk on VHS, We Came from the Basement, No Budget Nightmares, The After Movie Diner, Dr. Action and the Kick-Ass Kid, and Bloodbaths and Boomsticks. Take one podcast into the shower. Don't be a blithering idiot, Alan. We can give you the multiple podcast cleansing system all in one place that your hair deserves. Our programming is available across all platforms, from iTunes to Podomatic, TalkShoe to Stitcher, so you have absolutely no excuse. Listen today, and a free naked person of your choice will be shipped from Thailand to your door in a matter of weeks. The Second Unit Podcast Network, bringing you the action and leaving the boring stuff to the other guys. Bloody hell. Who does a girl have to blow around here to get a decent beverage?